Imagine a land where the sun itself seems to bow to the river that feeds it, where golden dunes whisper secrets older than time, and where a single woman's name once thundered across the two lands like the roar of the Nile in flood. This is Egypt, 15 centuries before the birth of Christ, and the woman is Hatshepsut, daughter of a king, wife of a king, mother of a princess, and, for 22 impossible years, king herself. She built wonders that scraped the heavens, sent ships to the edges of the world, and filled the temples with incense so thick the gods must have choked on gratitude. Yet when she died, her name was hammered from stone, her face smashed from statues, her very existence scraped from the scrolls of eternity. This is the true story of the queen who erased herself from history, not by choice, but by the furious chisels of those who came after her. And it begins, as all great Egyptian tales do, with the breath of a dying pharaoh. Picture the royal bedchamber in Thebes, the air heavy with lotus and myrrh, the walls painted with scenes of the afterlife so vivid you could almost hear the jackals howl. Thutmose I lies upon a bed of ebony and gold, his chest rising and falling like the bellows of a forge. His skin is parchment thin, his eyes clouded, but when he turns to the girl at his bedside, those eyes blaze with the fire of Ammonius Ra himself. The girl is 12, tall for her age, with the sharp cheekbones of her royal blood and a gaze that already sees farther than the horizon. Her name is Hatshepsut, and she is the only child of the king's great royal wife, the one whose womb was touched by the god himself, or so the priests will later claim. The old king's hand, gnarled and trembling, closes around hers. "Daughter," he rasps, "the throne is a lion. It will devour the weak. When I am gone, your brother will sit upon it, but he is soft clay. You are the fire that hardens the clay. Promise me you will guard Egypt." Hatshepsut's heart pounds like the war drums of Nubia, but her voice is steady as the pyramids. "I promise, father, by the feathers of Ma'at, I will keep the balance." He presses the ankh into her palm, the cross of life, warm from his flesh, and then his breath stills. The girl who will one day wear the double crown stands alone in the flickering lamplight, the weight of a kingdom already settling on her narrow shoulders. Fast forward 7 years. The court is a hive of intrigue, the air thick with the scent of intrigue and unguents. Thutmose I is long gone, and his son, Hatshepsut's half-brother, Thutmose II, sits uneasily upon the throne. He is a warrior, yes, but a sickly one, his lungs rattling with every breath, his campaigns cut short by fevers that no priest can cure. Hatshepsut, now 19, is his great royal wife, her linen gown pleated to perfection, her wig braided with lapis and gold. She stands at his side during audiences, her advice sharper than any sword. When he coughs blood into a golden bowl, it is she who summons the physicians, she who negotiates with the priests of Ammonius for offerings, she who ensures the granaries remain full while her husband dreams of battles he cannot fight. Their marriage is a contract, not a passion. They share a daughter, Neferur, a child with her mother's fierce eyes and a laugh like temple bells, but no son. In Egypt, where the pharaoh must be the living Horus, the hawk god incarnate, the lack of a male heir is a crack in the foundation of the world. The court whispers, the harem buzzes, and in a shadowed corner of the palace, a concubine named Isis cradles a toddling boy, Thutmose III, the son of a lesser wife, the spare heir no one expected to matter. Then, one dawn, the unthinkable. Thutmose II collapses during a council, his body folding like a papyrus reed in the wind. The priests wail, the courtiers scatter. Hatshepsut stands over her husband's corpse, her face a mask of granite, but inside, her mind races like a chariot in the Jubilee race. The boy king is 2 years old, barely weaned. Egypt teeters on the edge of chaos. Nubia stirs in the south. The Hyksos remnants eye the delta, and the priests of Ammonius grow fat on temple taxes. Someone must rule, and that someone, she decides, will be her. She does not seize the throne with swords. Hatshepsut is too clever for that. She becomes regent, the god's wife of Ammonius, the king's shadow. For 7 years, she rules through the toddler on the throne, her decrees stamped with his tiny cartouche. She rebuilds the temples ravaged by the Hyksos, sends caravans to Byblos for cedar, and, most daring of all, dispatches a fleet to the fabled land of Punt, a journey no pharaoh has attempted in centuries. The ships return laden with mertrees, ebony, ivory, and live panthers that pace in golden cages, their roars echoing through the courtyards of Thebes. The people cheer, the priests count their gold, and Hatshepsut, she watches from the palace balcony, her daughter Neferur at her side, and she smiles a smile that is half triumph, half calculation. But shadows lengthen, the boy king grows. Thutmose III is no longer a toddling pawn. He is 10, then 12, then 15, tall, broad-shouldered, with the hawk nose of his grandfather and a temper forged in the training grounds. He learns to wield the khopesh, to command chariots, to read the stars. And he learns to hate the woman who sits where he should sit, who signs her name where his should be. The court splits into factions. The priests of Ammonius, fat on Hatshepsut's donations, support her. The military, loyal to the blood of Thutmose, simmers. And in the harem, the boy's mother, Isis, whispers poison into his ear. She stole your birthright, my son. She wears the beard of a man, but she is no king. Hatshepsut feels the shift like the first chill of the inundation's retreat. She summons her closest advisor, Senenmut, a commoner risen to greatness, an architect whose mind builds temples before the stones are even quarried. He is her shadow, her confidant, perhaps her lover, though the scrolls are coy. In the lamplit silence of her chambers, she paces, her sandals slapping against the painted floor. The boy grows restless, she says. The priests grow greedy. I have given Egypt peace, Senenmut. 20 years without war. But peace is a fragile thing. Senenmut kneels, his voice low. Majesty, the gods have spoken. You are the daughter of Ammonius, born of his divine seed. Declare it. Take the throne outright. Let the boy be your co-ruler. But let the world know who truly wears the double crown. And so she does. On a morning when the sun crowns the cliffs of Thebes in molten gold, Hatshepsut ascends the steps of the temple of Karnak. She wears the white kilt of a king, the blue war crown, the false beard of Pharaoh's past. Her voice rings out like a trumpet. Hear me, people of Kemet. The god Ammonius came to my mother in the form of Thutmose I. He breathed life into her womb, and I was born, his daughter, his son, his king. I am Motker Hatshepsut, the living Horus, the king of Upper and Lower Egypt. I claim the throne not by force, but by divine will. The crowd roars. The priests anoint her with sacred oil. And Thutmose III, now a young man of 17, stands in the shadows, his jaw clenched so tight it could crack granite. For the next 22 years, Hatshepsut rules as no woman has before or since. She is not a queen. She is a king. Her statues show her with the broad chest of a man, the muscular arms of a warrior, the beard of Osiris. It is not deception, it is theology. In Egypt, the pharaoh must be male to maintain Ma'at, the cosmic balance. So Hatshepsut becomes male in image, if not in flesh. She celebrates the said festival, the Jubilee of Renewal, not once but twice, a feat reserved for the greatest kings. She raises obelisks at Karnak, each one a needle of granite piercing the sky, their tips sheathed in electrum that blazes like captured sunlight. One obelisk, still standing today, bears her boast. I have made my monument to my father Ammonius, that my name may endure forever. Her greatest wonder is her mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahri, a terraced masterpiece carved into the cliffs across from the Valley of the Kings. Imagine it. Colonnades of blinding white limestone, ramps rising like the wings of a falcon, gardens of frankincense trees imported from Punt. Statues of Hatshepsut line the terraces, some as the serene king, some as the Sphinx, some as Osiris himself. The walls are painted with the story of her divine birth. Ammonius disguised as Thutmose I, embracing Queen Amos, the god seed planting a pharaoh in her womb. It is propaganda, yes, but propaganda carved in stone, meant to outlast the stars. And the expeditions, the fleet to Punt is the stuff of legend. 5 ships, each 70 feet long, crewed by rowers and scribes, sail down the Red Sea to a land of mystery. They return with wonders. 31 live trees, their roots wrapped in burlap, destined to grow in the temple gardens. Ebony logs black as midnight, panthers with emerald eyes, baboons that chatter in the courtyards, and heaps of frankincense so pure it weeps tears of resin. The reliefs at Deir el-Bahri show the queen of Punt herself, obese, regal, her donkey laden with gifts. The Egyptians stare in awe. Hatshepsut's scribes record every detail, every weight of gold, every roar of the beasts. Egypt has never been richer, but beneath the glory, cracks widen. Thutmose III, now in his 30s, leads campaign after campaign, 17 in all, from the marshes of the Delta to the cedar forests of Lebanon. He is a brilliant general, his chariots thundering across battlefields, his name carved on enemy walls. Yet every victory is credited to Hatshepsut, the senior king. His statues are smaller, his name secondary. He smiles in public, but in private he broods. His son, Amenhotep II, grows up in his father's shadow, a prince with a minor wife's blood, hungry to prove his legitimacy. And Senenmut, the architect, vanishes from the records around year 16 of Hatshepsut's reign. Some say he died, others whisper exile or worse. The queen's inner circle thins. Her daughter Neferur, once groomed as God's wife of Ammonius, fades from the scene, perhaps married off, perhaps dead. Hatshepsut herself ages. The once slender girl becomes heavy, her joints swollen with what modern doctors call arthritis, her skin marred by what may have been bone cancer. She uses a cane carved with the head of Anubis, yet she rules on, her mind as sharp as ever. She plans new temples, new obelisks, new inscriptions to ensure her name will echo through eternity. She believes her deeds are her immortality. She is wrong. In the spring of 1458 BC or thereabouts, the Egyptian calendar is a slippery thing. Hatshepsut dies. The cause is unclear. Perhaps the cancer that gnawed her bones. Perhaps a stroke. Perhaps poison, though the evidence is thin. She is in her 50s, a ripe old age for a pharaoh. Her body is mummified with the care of a god, her organs sealed in canopic jars, her tomb prepared in the Valley of the Kings. She is laid to rest with her father, Thutmose I, in a sarcophagus inscribed with her kingly titles. The priests chant the opening of the mouth. The doors are sealed, and for a brief moment Egypt mourns. Then Thutmose III takes the throne alone. He is 40-something, battle-hardened, his hair streaked with gray, his eyes cold as the desert night. For 20 years he has waited. Now he acts. He does not destroy Hatshepsut's temples. Her wonders are too magnificent, too useful. Instead, he erases her name. Gangs of masons swarm Deir el-Bahri, Karnak, every monument bearing her cartouche. They chisel out the hieroglyphs of Motker Hatshepsut, replacing them with the names of Thutmose I, II, or III. They hack the faces from her statues, smashing the serene noses, the bearded chins, the calm eyes. They topple her obelisks, not all, but enough to send a message. They erase Neferur too, the princess who might have carried the female line. They burn the papyri that praise her. They rewrite the king lists, skipping from Thutmose II to Thutmose III as if the 22 years of peace never happened. Hatshepsut, the king who was a queen, the woman who was a god, the pharaoh who built an empire of peace and then watched it try to forget her. She ruled for 22 years, died in her bed, and spent 3 millennia in the shadows. But shadows cannot hold the sun, and Hatshepsut was the sun.